If you want some very powerful questions that you can ask inside of your community, let me tell you two of the most powerful ones right here. Number one, if I were to eliminate everything from this community except for one of these features, which would be the one you'd want me to keep? Second question, if I were to keep all of the features except for one, which would have the smallest impact on your life that you wouldn't care about? And when you get 100 of those answers, you'll start to map and see what people value the most. And it's almost like votes. You'll see very quickly, oh wow, I thought it was this, but this is the thing that people value. And this thing that takes me all this time, they don't even care at all about it. And as an added bonus, we've already looked at this, but the number one reason that people cancel communities, you guys want to know what it is? Number one reason, let me tell you what it is. It's overwhelm. It's too much. They just get over, they're like, I can't take all this in. It's too much for me to consume. And basically what that really is, if you translate into value equation, perceived likelihood of achievement drops to the floor because they know that they're not going to consume it. So the likelihood that they get the result plummets to zero. And so the idea is, how few things can I give you to get you the result that you ultimately want? We want to show kind of like the full 360 of what the client experience will look like for them, because then also the better the client experience matches what they were promised, then the more congruency you're going to have overall, the more people are going to stay, the more people are going to refer, and the more, like, fundamentally they're going to keep buying because they're getting exactly what they wanted. You just want to blow people away with this, and it's like, imagine if you had ads like this running all the time that you didn't have to work for. Well, we're going to give you 20 of these every month. We're going to give you 2 weekly strategy classes. So one screenshot of you reviewing creative with somebody else on the line. So it's you and somebody else in a screen share, or you in a group in a screen share like this, like what we're doing right now. This probably goes for low ticket guys too, but especially high ticket, where, you know, 1 sale or 2 more sales a month at 1K will make a material difference in terms of your income over a year. It's like $24,000. So it's like worth it. We're just saying, big headline again, what's the promise? Here's the features. This is the plan of how we're going to get there. And then the proof you already can relate back. That's the proof of the promise, right? So just think about it as one, it's just, you're basically telling a hero's journey where the person who's reading is going through the entire journey in advance. They're going through what it would look like to first get the promise, go through the plan, and then receive the fulfillment of that promise, which is the proof, but via somebody else. So they approximate, or they feel like they get it vicariously. And that tiny bit of vicarious promise fulfillment is what makes them say, I want it. I'm willing to buy it. I'm willing to risk my money in order to live that story out like that guy did. While you're explaining all the stuff that's inside, show what you're explaining. So that gives a visual aid. So you have basically 2 forms of stimulation. When you have the words, but then you also have the visual of what you're describing at the same time. What's up, guys and gals? Guys and gals. How are you guys doing? Everybody excited? School Games chant. Yeah, Goose came in with the school specific swag, which was super sweet of him. But yeah, and the tie-dye version, which is sweet. So today should be fun, or it won't be fun. And so you can tell us if it wasn't fun. But we're gonna do a little something different today. We're obviously gonna do Q's and A's. But man, okay, if we're doing all these reviews, I don't even know if we're gonna. Well, we'll do the best we can. So, any big updates that you wanted to hit on, Kirby, before we rock and roll into this?
This is the last call for the end of these games. So, couple interesting things. Kai has made it into 3rd place, which is impressive.
Yeah.
And there's a fierce battle for 10th place.
Yeah, there's a megathon going right now between like 3 or 4 guys. Yeah, Jennifer Giz, she was at 10th an hour ago.
Wow.
Lewis is there at 29. I mean, dude, she's $27 ahead. Yeah, and then Jamie C's actually come up in the rankings. Jackson was at 11th. Honestly, like a couple hours ago. So look at these guys, 4,200, 4,900 in the last 24 hours. So they're cranking right now. We still have like 3 days left, though, right? Or 2 days left?
Yep.
30th?
Yep.
Yeah, 30th at 2. Yeah, it's getting intense. It's getting heated, if you will. That being said, let's rock and roll. All right. So that was the leaderboard. So we did that little review. Fantastic. Obviously, Nate's in first with the Belmar Bros, if you will, with the 6-figure plus first month, which is monstrous. But let's dive into some page reviews. So this is gonna be a little bit new. I've got a big list of pages. I'm gonna see how many we can get through, and then we'll go into Q's. Sound good? All right. Fantastic. So let's dive in here. So let's look at defense fitness. All right. So overall, this looks simple. Let's see here. Sounds good. Some testimonials. Great. This is neat. Strength and fitness. Got it. So if I were to do a teardown of the page, first off is I'd consider having a video here that kind of walks through the major components that you talk about inside of what's included. And so that would just be like, hey, like this is what we do with the workouts. Let me show you what the workouts look like. Let me show you what the section on nutrition looks like. Let me show you what our meal plan looks like. Let me show you what the community inside and some of the challenges of people who are participating. Let me show you the network that we have. So you can show the group, the number of people that are added, some like recovery techniques. So you just show the section that you have in recovery and show that stuff. And then I think this will be super, super valuable for a lot of people. So this would probably be one of the ones that I either I do it right off the top in the beginning, or I would close with it. So it's like, I either want it to be the first thing they think of and be like, whoa, this is really cool, or I'd want it at the end. So it's something called peak end bias in terms of videos, is that people from the peak of a video, the peak emotional state, and they remember how things finish. And so I would want to either have it sandwiched to the front or the end, number one. Number two, I think that these slides right here are, I think they're potential, like wasted opportunities, maybe a little bit strong for what I'm saying, but I would want to show, like, this is great, like this is really good, a little bit harder to read. So I might use fewer of them and highlight the parts that I want someone to read. So I want to direct someone's eyes here. So I might have 3 that I think are the best, and I would highlight the portions of text, because like the person's gonna, like, if you ever watch screen recordings of people doing stuff, like they skip around really fast. And so you want to just make sure that you, like here it just says, if I were to click through this, I would just say people say nice things, and then I would just move to the next one. Like I wouldn't even read it. I would just know people have said nice things. So I'd rather pull out 1 to 3 really meaningful ones to right off the bat. The video would be first, that would be second, or I'd highlight it. And then each of these tiles, I think, should represent images from these things that are included, right? So if we're thinking about this from a features perspective, it's like the video does the overview with a voiceover of all the things, right? And I think fundamentally, you just want to say, here's what you get, like just very straightforward. And here's what it's going to help you solve so that you can, very simple process. Like we have this so that you can have benefit. We have this so that you can avoid bad thing. We have this so that you can have good thing. We have this so you can avoid bad thing, right? It's more good or less bad. That's fundamentally just sales, how it works. And if you think about value overall, you think, how do I make it faster? How to make it easier? And how to make it risk-free, or how to make it guaranteed? So there's the elements that you want to be mentioning when you're talking about each of the bullets. So does this thing make it more guaranteed that they get the result? Does it make it faster that they're going to get the result? Or does it make it easier for them to get the result? And I like to emphasize one of those 3 points when I'm making each of the bullets. Now, with this, you have healing, you have some elements, you have discipline and focus, you have, I'm guessing, some sort, like you have training, so you've got like muscle elements. So there's a lot of basically solutions being presented here. And I'd want to boil it down to like what the main outcome that they're going to get is from here. So TLDR, video first, the structure of the video I went over already. And then each of the tiles I would use to highlight one key thing. And so now that I'm talking about this out loud, I would have a picture of the stuff, and then I would have one testimonial super laid over it about that thing. So it's like, here's the meal plans. And then there's Sarah saying, like, these meal plans are so amazing. I thought it was just gonna be something generic on the internet, but these actually really helped me out and have made fitness so much easier for me. Boom. That's the testimonial highlighted. Great. Next tile, workouts, right? It's like, hey, and then obstacle will probably be like, can I do these at home? So someone's like, I thought I was going to need a gym for this, but I actually can do these at home. And they're really challenging. So I think I'm going to have like, a year plus before I'm going to be able to do some of the more advanced stuff, but it's really nice because you regresses it down to somebody who's at my level, who's just getting started. Great. That's the testimonial around the feature. So it's like feature, testimonial, or feature, biggest obstacle. And so I would think about that when I'm going through each of these tiles to make it more compelling. In terms of the actual words themselves, so let me pull this page back up because I'm still looking at it. You guys are looking at my face. I like the prices going up soon thing. I think that's great. Okay, this is fine. Let's see here. Workouts. Yeah, and this is more or less the bullets. So that's fine. I would maybe consider, like I said, I mean, this is at the end. I would probably start with this one because it's super compelling. Like direct access, just for everybody here, like access is what groups approximate. Like they basically, instead of getting one-on-one with you, they get one-to-many with you. And so you want to show any degrees of access that you are providing that this looks like it's one-to-one. You want to show that. Now, not just be like responses from the master or whatever, but I would want to hit with that first because I think that would be really compelling. And yeah, these things are nice. So yeah, I think fundamentally the words look okay. So I'm good with that. Whether the emojis or not do anything, that's something that we can probably figure out at a mega level, whether bullets or check marks work fine, whether each of the individual emojis. Do I think it's going to have a huge effect on the conversion? Honestly, probably not. But I think that fixing this stuff would be the thing that'll drive the most throughput in terms of conversion optimization. So that's the first one. All right, let's look at this one. Is this good for you guys? Can you, let me see if I can see the chat. Or Kirby, you can tell me if people are liking this. Okay, fantastic. So that's the first one. All right, let's look at this one. Is this good for you guys? Can you, let me see if I can see the chat. Or Kirby, you can tell me if people are liking this. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so relational intelligence, great. So you've got this, we've got the video here. Let's, I'm gonna just kind of scoot through this. Okay, so we've got talking head for the most part. Okay, so it's all talking head. So what I would probably do is kind of what I outlined before. Is like, if I have these bullets of what I'm gonna talk about, I wanna show, like the reason that quote demonstrations and demos are compelling for sales calls is because it shows, like it doesn't leave to the imagination. It just shows them what they're going to get. And so think about this. This actually might be a good frame for everyone. Think about this like an unboxing unboxing video. So it's like, I'm going to unbox what you're going to get. And this is the stuff that's inside. And you just, again, while you're thinking through this, and this comes with time and comes with practice when you like sell stuff, but you're thinking, how does this help them avoid pain? How does this help them gain what they want faster, easier, or more guaranteed or risk-free, right? And so each of these things is away from bad towards good. And you've got the elements of risk, speed, and ease, right? That's kind of the matrix that you're thinking through in terms of how you're describing each of the bullets or each of the components or features of what you're including in your community. So I would take advantage of the other tiles here. So that would be something that I would do, because the tiles, people carousel through all of them. Like they quickly look through all of them. Like I can tell you that right now. If you've ever, who here, actually, I'm going to ask this in the chat. Who here has bought stuff on Amazon? Just say it in the chat. Say in the chat if you buy stuff on Amazon. Yes. Okay. So when you buy stuff on Amazon, what do you do? Like if you're like me, I literally click all the tiles of the image to see if there's anything that I want to see, right? And then what do? Then I scroll through the bullets to see what the features are. Because if there's something that I was thinking about, like if I had a question about an element of the product, and then I look at the price and the options associated, and then I make a purchasing decision. Fundamentally, that's what it is. And when reviews come out, those will be a huge, huge boost for everybody. Well, if your reviews are good, they'll be a boost for you. If your reviews are bad, then it might be a little tough. But make sure your reviews are good. All right. So going back to this, so one is I would probably take that video that you have, and I would want it while you're explaining all the stuff that's inside, show what you're explaining. So that gives a visual aid. So you have basically two forms of stimulation. When you have the words, but then you also have the visual of what you're describing at the same time. The other tiles I would use to highlight, and for you, it's like right now you have work relationship. Let me pull this back up because I'm looking at it. Here we go. So you've got work relationships, family members, romantic partners, you relate with things. So if these are the different components, then I would want to draw basically testimonials or posts relevant to those topics. Now I know you have 15 members and that's fine. So the way that I would think through this is make a training or do a live on that thing, and then ask for feedback on that training. And then that way you can screenshot the feedback about that topic so that you can use each of those. And if you're like, man, this sounds like work, I mean, welcome to business. But like these are the little details that will really drive the needle or like move the needle. And I will say this is that as you're looking through each of these features or components, each of those features is going to be for one specific avatar. So there's going to be somebody who's like, I have an issue with my phone. I'm addicted to my phone, right? Or I have an issue with my boss, right? And so they're going to join probably because they have one relationship in mind that they're trying to fix. And so we need to make sure that we're checking that box for that person. And so like one of those tiles will be the one that sold them. And then the text underneath simply re-explains for people who prefer to read, or adds any more context that you don't think you included in the visuals, what is included inside. All right. So that's the TLDR in my opinion, for this page. Let me see if there's anything else that I would look at here. Okay.
And whilst you're looking, for everybody listening, this lesson and all of these lessons apply to every single about page. All about pages follow the same format. So every lesson here applies to your about page, even if your about page doesn't get reviewed.
Yeah, I would see if I could tighten this into like 4 lines, and I would have them be separate lines, and then I would get into the stuff inside. Just me as a reader, right? It'd be like if I were selling this, I would probably say something to the extent of like, the strength of the relationship with your significant other has a 0.71 correlation to your overall well-being. Boom. Okay, that means it's more important than this, and this. 0.2. Great. So that is why we have these things, the bullets to solve that. So it's like, you want to create, you're currently here, you want here, this is why it's important, and then here's the things that we do to help you solve it. So like, we want to be as tight as humanly possible with the copy, and like, you have to be ruthless in terms of like, does this sentence or this phrase pay its rent? Will it be, and this is how I like to think about this, with every sentence or every bullet that you put on there, you have to say, will this get a higher percentage of people to buy? A, or B, will it get a new audience of people who wouldn't have bought to buy? So it's basically saying the same thing with just 2 different phrasings. One is like, obviously, if you have 100 people, a higher percentage of people to buy might mean that you might appeal to 3 more people in the audience by adding this phrase, which then overall increases the conversion. And so fundamentally, the purpose of this page is to convert the highest percentage of the audience who views it, ideally of the customers that you want. And so something that might also be worth adding, by the way, the most read thing in almost every sales letter is going to be the headline, first line, and the PS statement at the end. So you guys aren't using a a PS statement at the end, I'd highly recommend you do that because everyone will read it. And so sometimes PS statements can be simple as like, hey, if you're somebody who's like just like basically I like PS statements for away statements, meaning this is who it's not for. And by saying who it's not for, the right people will be like, oh, good, I hate these people. This is who I am for. So it's like, hey, if you're the type of person who's going to blame everyone else in your life, this is not a bitch fest inside of a group. Like this is for people who want to take actions and say that 100% of a relationship is in their control because that's the only thing you can control, right? Like that would be my angle if that was the audience that I want. Now, if you wanted victims, then you can go after them, right? All right, let's look at the next one. If I'm moving fast, then just pay attention fast. All right, so winning crazy. First off, love the first visual here. Really, really love the first visual. Really pops. Very looks a little inspired by some anime threads. But I will say this: just give me more. If you have winning creatives, give me 6 other ones, but make them all different, right? Make them different for different genres or different industries. Let's see. One of the hardest parts of getting a community in the publish ads. Okay. With a budget, can't guarantee return. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Proven across 30 ad accounts. Okay. Here's what we offer. What you get. Okay. I would either choose here's what you get or here's what we offer. Just pick one. 20 ads, creative, 2 weekly calls, June bonus, full community audit, special pricing. Okay. Okay. So I would put the pricing thing up top if you're going to bump it. I would put the June bonus up top. I would then probably see if I could put this into single lines and see what I could cut. And then the what you get monthly, I would take away these trophies because they kind of distract. That's just me personally. So that's a bit of a personal bias there. And again, if we're doing 20 ad creatives, then just give as max versions of creatives. And like with each of them, like here you have 4. Like see if you could do like each one of them has 4, so you can show more of them because people are like, wow, these are really good, right? You just want to blow people away with this. And it's like, imagine if you had ads like this running all the time that you didn't have to work for. Well, we're going to give you 20 of these every month. We're going to give you 2 weekly strategy classes. So one screenshot of you reviewing creative with somebody else on the line. So it's you and somebody else in a screen share, or you in a group in a screen share like this, like what we're doing right now. I'd have a screenshot of this call in there. And I would, if you can, this would be like for sure show, I mean, if you could, and again, guys, you can use one tile and show 4 before and afters, or 2 before and afters at least. So you say ad creative before, ad creative with us, ad creative before, ad creative with us. So it's like, here's the creative, which people are like, wow, that slays. And then they're like, but does it work? So that's going to be the next natural question that I'd have as a consumer. And then you say, don't worry, I've got that resolved. It works. And then you show that how we work together, which is like, okay, but how does it work? And then it's like, great, there's a picture of me. There's a picture of, the person, and then working on that. So we want to show kind of like the full 360 of what the client experience will look like for them, because then also the better the client experience matches what they were promised, then the more congruency you're going to have overall, the more people are going to stay, the more people are going to refer, and the more, like fundamentally they're going to keep buying because they're getting exactly what they wanted. I like the money back guarantee. I would just consider, now that we're sorry, let me pull this back up because I'm talking at you here. So if I were to redo this page, I would probably put all 3 of these things as one. Basically, it's like June special. It says bonus, community audit, 14-day money back guarantee, now only $9.99. So that just takes these 6 lines, makes it into 3, puts it at the top. I would take this thing, and I don't even know if I would maybe put this at the end. I would put this next as like, what are the features? And then if people want to find out more, I put the last bullets kind of describing stuff inside of it with like proof that I am good at what I say I do. And I would see if I can, like, if you had to cut this into a third, what would you do? And how many words would you eliminate? That's probably what I would. And if you want, you can even give them a separate CTA, which is like, if you've got questions, go here, right? Which I think that might be a good, especially if this is high ticket. I would say, if you have any questions, DM me, and this is my profile or whatever, because that way I think it'll make it a lot easier for you to close other people that will be like on the fence. So this probably goes for low ticket guys too, but especially high ticket where, 1 sale or 2 more sales a month at 1K will make a material difference in terms of your income over a year. It's like $24,000. So it's like worth it. Okay. So that was the first 3. You guys digging these? I'm a ham. I need some positive reinforcement here if you guys are liking this. Otherwise we can go to normal Q's and A's. These are great. Okay, sweet. Okay. Hifdh Revolution. Let's see what this is. Okay, and guys, you're getting fresh off. Like, I haven't seen any of these. This is 100% fresh off the cuff. Okay,
it's good because when you say blah blah blah, 100% everyone that's reading the page is also saying blah blah blah. So it's great.
Oh yeah. So there you go. So first off, utilize all the images in video. Like I'd say 1 video max, and then do the rest of the images. Like use all the images. Again, if you want to get it up, get it up. Don't get me wrong. Like, done is better than perfect. But today is about how do we optimize? How do we increase conversion? increase the percentage of people. Okay. So I would add other images here, only online community for the ultimate Hifdh. I don't know what this stands for, but I'm sure your audience does. Okay. Tracker page, accountability partner, weekly coaching sessions, cognitive training protocols, science behind other brain functions. Okay. Most effective principles for ready, later 5 minutes a day. Okay. That's cool. This is actually kind of nice. That felt like one of the harder hitting ones. Courses on how to focus. Okay. That's fine. Okay. This is a private community only for people willing to be rewire the brains. Fine. Beginners are warned and welcome. Okay. Conditions to be a member. I like this. It's kind of like the mini PS. Pray 5 times a day. Commit to daily this. Adopt Ishan. Okay. Have regular Quran teacher. Okay. Okay. Big picture. I will say this. I think this page is simple, which I like. So I like the copy. Like the points are clear here. So I actually think the copy wise, this is good. I do see that he's got the Calendly link at the bottom. I'll bet you that has helped with the conversion. So for many of you, that might be here's your sign. Honestly, might even be worth, again, this is at $15 a month, but like, again, I've said this in the last call, taking calls with people when you're getting started will just get you to find, like, you will learn more about you will never lose money talking to your customers, especially in the beginning. Well, really throughout, you want to keep talking to them, but this will just give you a good pulse of what people are concerned about, what their major concerns are. And this will allow you to tweak the copy of the page to use the language that they're using and the benefits and the struggles that they are struggling with that they want in terms of to flip into benefits. Okay. So the big one here is I would just show proof of people having these transformations. I would show what it looks like on the inside. And I would show like results, comments, features I would put included in these carousels. So that would be the number one big thing that I would have here. And I would match these again. Each of these features, I would want to have the feature displayed whatever way I could with some testimonial that's relevant to that thing. And if you don't have them, do a training on it, ask people for feedback on the training, and you can screenshot the feedback and then screenshot the training. And then there you go. Okay. One other thing. Oh yeah. I would consider, this is what I was going to say, so I can conclude my thought. I would consider putting this up here and saying, if you have questions, go here. And that'll give you a line in, because then you'll have calls that'll definitely appear on your calendar, and you can take some of those calls. Again, I know $15 a month, that seems quote cheap, but big picture, like if this is the business that you want to go all in on, you're going to learn copy from them. You're going to learn the features that matter to them. And if you want some very powerful questions that you can ask inside of your community, let me tell you two of the most powerful ones right here. All right. So take out your notepad. Number one, if I were to eliminate everything from this community except for one of these features, which would be the one you'd want me to keep? Second question, if I were to keep all of the features except for one, which would have the smallest impact on your life that you wouldn't care about? And when you get 100 of those answers, you'll start to map and see what people value the most. And it's almost like votes. You'll see very quickly, oh, wow, I thought it was this, but this is the thing that people value. And this thing that takes me all this time, they don't even care at all about it. And so what this does is if you do this on a regular basis and you continue to adjust features, you will be able to get closer and closer to a tighter stack of like 3 or 4 things that people absolutely can't live without, that converts the highest percent of the audience. And it will make your delivery more efficient because you have to do less on the back end. And as an added bonus, we've already looked at this, but the number one reason that people cancel communities, you guys want to know what it is? Number one reason, actually, just for engagement's sake. What do you think it is? What do you think the number one reason that people cancel communities is? Drop it in the chat. All right. So we got overwhelmed, bored, confused, overwhelmed, too much stuff, no activity. They don't use it, too much value. Too much value. Too much value is too much value. All right, let me tell you what it is. It's overwhelm. It's too much. They just get over. They're like, I can't take all this in. It's too much for me to consume. And basically, what that really is, if you translate into value equation, perceived likelihood of achievement drops to the floor because they know that they're not going to consume it. So the likelihood that they get the result plummets to 0. And so the idea is, how can I get how few things can I give you to get you the result that you ultimately want? And especially when we're looking at a $15, $50, $100 a month price point, like these are what I would consider smaller purchase prices compared to $1,000 a month. Obviously, $99 a month is a lot more than Netflix, but big point in terms of who you're looking for and what kind of transformation you're trying to deliver. If someone just gets one nugget a month that they actually consume and get value from it, like that buys them another 2 or 3 months from you. And so we want to increase the likelihood that they consume that good thing. And so I'd rather, for many of you guys who are doing like daily calls or things like that, the daily call, like, because people have cited the fact that I did a daily call for Gym Launch. I did. But you know what didn't matter? The recording of that call. And so it's like, I don't need to put the recording of 500 calls, because everybody here knows no one's going to watch them. No one's going to watch them. No one's going to watch them. If you have that many, if you have one a day, no one's going to watch them. But if you basically use that as a way to add support to your group, then that's different, right? That's like, this is how I meet all the new members. Everybody who's new, hop on the call at 8 a.m. and you greet all the new people first. That way they know that you're there. And then you talk about whatever it is that's, the stuff that you're talking about, you add support, right? But I wouldn't put that as content, because everybody who's new is like, oh my God, I'm never going to go through this. All right. So the idea is, how do we make this as tight as possible? Now for this community, we do one call a week, right? And so it's 1 hour that you can consume a week. And then we have the mega drop once a month of the one-day mastermind, right? With all the people. And the nice thing is that it's always super applicable for everyone in the Skool Games community because everyone there is a community owner. And so everything we're talking about is relevant, right? So, okay. So that was my little tidbit there. Let's go for number 5, unless you want to move to, what do we got? 27? All right, I'm gonna do another one. Let's see here. Quit porn free. All right, let's see here. Pornhub will not be happy. All right, let's see here. Okay, all the steps you need to quit pornography permanently. I like that. This is this is very clear. Like, I know what this community is about. This is a nice promise. Really good. All right, let's see what this is. Okay, is this a video? This is a video. Okay, let me see what it looks like before I click play. No, darn it. All right, do they all automatically play? They do automatically. Okay, so this is me as a consumer. I wouldn't want to watch all videos. I do appreciate the testimonial thing. Maybe do, let's see, are these formatted? No, okay. So if I was going to do this, I would put one, I would see if I could condense this. 2, think about it like a TikTok or a short. Like, you want to put the transcriptions on it because so many people watch on silent, like myself included. Like, I almost never turn on sound. I just would rather read it. So I would put that there. But better yet, like, I don't have data on this one, but I would almost bet I would definitely want to have 1 or 2 of these that are just written and you just highlight the main points because it's just easy to make the glance. Because I would bet that a consumer does what I'm doing, which is like, I love the promise. Cool. Love the promise. And then I'm like, oh no, I don't want to watch all of these. Right. So how to quit porn is free community from anyone who quit porn permanently. Cool. What's inside? I mean, this is clear. So I'll say this. This is super clear. What's that? Free training is going to quit permanent. Okay. Got it. Free life. Okay. Community with support and connection. Chance to win. So I would put this. I would put 1 or 2 more bullets on here. And this is me getting into copy stuff. But my biggest fear, so if I'm trying to get into like I need to quit porn, is like the shame associated with it. And so I would say this is a 100% judgment-free zone because I think there's a very shameful thing that people are kind of, it's super private, right? You only do it when you're alone. Well, I mean, maybe some people do it with friends, but like most people are doing it alone. And so I would want to talk about like rules of the community is that like there is no bashing. There are no insults. Like, if you have it, you will immediately be kicked out. And we maintain a culture of like complete acceptance so that we can get better, so that we can improve together. So I would put that because that's going to be my big fear. And what I'd probably do as I talk about this out loud is I would have pictures of what people are posting inside that community and see and the comments underneath that show what level of support is there without the bashing. I would want to prove that point. And so I think the headline's really clear. I think the promise is clear. So I think for everybody, if you're looking at, of all the ones that we looked at, to me, this was the clearest promise of the 4 or 5 that we've gone over. Super clear promise, which I like. And I don't even think that's necessarily a bad idea as your first tile. What's the promise, right? And so if you think about this I've shared this in my content stuff, but we think about the 3 Ps when we make content, which is what's the promise, what's the plan, and what's the proof, right? Proof, promise, plan. Doesn't matter the order, but I'd start with promise. I'd give the plan, which is going to be the features, and then I'd have proof, okay? So if you're thinking through this, promise, plan, proof, right? And then the same thing underneath in the bullets. And the bullets that you have there, whoever, Harley is running this, I think the bullets are good. I would just add, like, again, this is thinking through frames. When you're looking at copy, it's like, okay, what is someone afraid of? What's the away from? Here's the toward. They want to quit, right? They want to, and like, I might describe some of the benefits of what people who don't have the porn addiction experience, which is like higher drive in life, right? Like more desire to go with girls and pursue goals and be more ambitious. Like that's I don't know the space super well, but I'm assuming that's the big promise. And then the away from is basically the self-judgment, getting bashed from others and actually having to do this alone, right? I would imagine that quitting on your own is harder, just like quitting alcohol or whatever else, and having a support group. And so I would probably draw that line of like, this is a completely no judgment zone, just like Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. This is porn anonymous, right? PA. Actually, I don't know why that's not a thing as a side note. Not a bad, actually. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some trademark stuff around that, but like, that's good. Yeah. So Harley, if you watch this, then maybe something to consider. But those would be the tweaks that I would make to that to your page to get higher conversion. All right, let's get mind supply. Let's look at this puppy. All right, let me share my screen again. I'll keep going until you guys tell me that you're bored and you want to go do other stuff. Okay. So Phoenix Challenge, this is cool. I like the colors. Designed to help you think just a little bit differently. Okay. 3 tasks, 6 calls, 9 days. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what this is yet, to be clear. So I'm just giving you my fresh, like no idea, haven't seen this before perspective. Okay. Challenge feedback. I decided to join on a whim. Okay. The community creates about creators. Okay. So this is about creators. So this is the first time that I know this is about creators is in the sub, this little sub bullet here. I didn't know this. Okay. So you create, okay, find myself pushing boundaries and really look deep. Okay. Loose to speak. I'm not exaggerating. I'm also willing to do the work. work, follow it out. I'll be right along. Wait, cheering you. Okay, fine. I'm guessing this is some sort of, I don't know what this is. Presentation, probably. Okay. If you're going to do these, highlight. Because I'm probably not going to read this whole thing. So highlight the parts that you want me to, you really want me to emphasize. Look inside. Okay. This is, I would probably show some of the responses, but this is, does this make me want to buy? This is always my, like, does this increase the likelihood that I'm going to buy? I think this is compelling because I actually got to find out what this was about. So until I got to hear what said, a community to inspire creators, I was like, okay, this is for creators. So looking to change their outer reality, going within. Are you ready to do the work? Okay. Okay. Soul Sanctuary community mission to change their outer reality. Okay, maybe this isn't for creators. Okay. Your self-doubts, insecurities, your fire's power. Okay. Journey. This community is for those who are inner work, ready to heal. Okay. Shadow exploration, useful prompts, inner child attachment theories. Okay. So zooming out, I like the colors. I like that it's bright. I think the design stuff's cool. So that's my plus column. My con column is that I'm actually still, like, it took me a minute to figure out. And the way that I went through it, to be clear, like, if you guys are watching what I'm doing, I probably simulate what a normal user would do. Like, I didn't look at, like, think about this. I didn't look at the copy. I looked at all the tiles first, and then I went to the copy. And so if you're thinking about order of importance, like, again, if you need to get it done, get it done, get it up. Fine. We're talking about optimization. Those tiles, like, if I had to pick, I'd rather have someone have 6 tiles and no words, besides, like, go click the link and join, right? Or click the button and join, than all words and no tiles. Okay. So big picture, I would prefer that if I had to pick between the two. I'd want to be much, like, so take this the way I mean it now, because I see you're on here. There's a lot of fluffy language. So I would want to boil this down to, like, what do I get? All right. So I know in the beginning here, you say 3 tasks, 6 calls, 9 days. I like that concision. I just didn't really know what the promise was. And so if I'm looking through this from promise path or promise plan proof, I right now think it's lacking kind of all 3. And so the good news is, if you have members right now who are on here, then you're already succeeding despite having all this stuff. So, like, again, just for everyone, this is about making it better. This isn't saying that anyone's good or bad. All right. This is like, can we make it better? And this is one man's perspective on how I would approach it. So promise, I would start with that first one. So it says designed to help you think a little bit differently. So I would probably want to crispen that and just say, like to use what we've been talking about at schools, like, what the fuck is the school games? It's like, what the fuck is the Phoenix Challenge? Like, if you had to explain it to a toddler and, like, you couldn't use any fancy words, a lot of this is jargon from inside of your world, just being real with you. A lot of this is probably, I would say, insider lingo, and will make it harder to convert outsiders, right? And so I would try and play down the language, remove jargon, and clear promise, slide 1. My plan is, like, what are the elements? So you have 3 tasks, 6 calls, 9 days, whatever. So I'd have each of those tiles is going to relate to one of the key parts of the plan, right? And then proof that the plan works. And the deliverable, ideally in the proof, should match the promise that I made at the beginning. So if I were using the porn thing, it's like, how to quit porn forever. And at the end is like, dude, I've been 91 days without porn. I've got a promotion in my job. My girl's happy, or I just got my first dates again. I'm getting out there. Like, that's the proof of the promise, right? So just think about it as one. It's just, you're basically telling a hero's journey where the person who's reading is going through the entire journey in advance. They're going through what it would look like to first get the promise, go through the plan, and then receive the fulfillment of that promise, which is the proof, but via somebody else. So they approximate, or they feel like they get it vicariously. And that tiny bit of vicarious promise fulfillment is what makes them say, I want it. I'm willing to buy it. I'm willing to risk my money in order to live that story out like that guy did. All right. And so the bullets underneath in terms of copy, we're just saying, big headline again, what's the promise? Here's the features. This is the plan of how we're going to get there. And then the proof you already can relate back. Again, I don't know what the price point is. Oh, this is free. Fine. Well, then I wouldn't put a calendar here because it's free. But then you put a PS statement. I'd still, everybody include a PS statement of who this is for, who this is not for, as a final sign off to just attract the right people and ward away the wrong ones. So hopefully, Nav, that gave you a little bit of stuff that you can work on. Let me know if that sucks, or if you're like, fuck Alex, he sucks.
She said love that, which is good.
Wish he hadn't been born. Okay, so International Hustlers Academy. Okay, let's look here. T20 strategies for international hustlers. So one thing I will say, because I actually saw this somewhere. I saw this group. Yeah, so 3 One thing I'm only going to say this. I'm pretty sure Tate's thing's called Hustler. I was Hustler University, right? So if you want that association, then keep it. If this has nothing to do with that, to me, it's a little confusing. So it's like the first thing that I saw when I saw this was Tate, and I thought this was a Tate-esque community. Now, if it is, then fine. I just don't don't know if that's the intention. When I read what it was for, it didn't seem like it was that way. So I would consider using like driven or hungry or ambitious. Ambitious Academy actually sounds kind of nice. Little alliteration there. And so I would just consider that. That's just me shooting from the cuff. If you don't want to change it up to you, can do whatever you want. Okay. So we've got a lot of videos here. Let's go through this first guy. Okay. So this looks like you've got changing visuals. I like this presentation. This looks good. Okay. This is good. I like this presentation. Great. Yep. I like this presentation. Okay. Let's see what this guy is. Okay. So these are testimonials. Okay. Okay. So by the way, the first line in that video says congrats on the job, which I think is fucking banger. Really good. And so what I would probably try and do, so this is me going marketing 201 hat. Obviously you're making some money with this right now, which is awesome. I would try and take that congrats on your job part and take it from every one of the calls that you had and condense it into one and do like 60 in a row. And it's like, congrats on the job, 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 right? People are like, holy shit, right? And I would probably start the video with 60 stories in 60 seconds. Because that way I know what I'm about to get when I click. So just this is like YouTube 101. This is kind of creator 101. It's like, what am I like? I want to bargain on my time. I want to make sure it's worth it. So it's like 60 seconds. Okay, I'll watch 60 stories in 60 seconds. Cool. Click. All right. And as you see the congrats on the job, just put in the lower third what the job was. So you don't have to wait for it to get said. Be like, Najeev got a role 90K at whatever, Credit Suisse, whatever. Doesn't matter. All right. And so you pop through that. I think that would be really compelling. And then I would probably still use the other carousels to show features of the plan that you literally just take screenshots of the presentation that you had, the most compelling slides. Just take those screenshots and put them in there, because believe it or not, you can also put a lower third on that slide. Say, if you want the voiceover, watch the video. So that way it's like you can let the slides sell me on watching your video, because your video looks like it's relatively compelling just sliding through it. So I would take screenshots of the most compelling slides, put those as the remainder of the carousels, and reference back to the video so that I might get someone to watch it, be more likely to buy. Okay, so now we're going to look at the copy, because this is how people go through these things. All right, price goes up. Cool. So this is nice. A little urgency right off the bat. I think you might have to update this if you've already made the jump. As a side note. Okay, struggling to land a job. You're not alone. Okay, success story, hundreds. Okay, cool. Master every step. It's fine. In May, you unlock. Okay, so we want to make sure that, okay, this is in May. Daily live calls. Okay, exclusive community access, 11-hour course. Okay, cool. Proven templates, May, limited time offer. I think more or less, this is like, I think the copy here is pretty good. You know what I mean? I think this covers a lot of the main points. I would update this because this feels a little unclear. But otherwise, I think this is pretty solid. This is a very compelling offer, as a side note, just for everybody. Like, which is why he has the number of member he has is the price point. Like, this is a very big promise. And actually, let's see here. You kind of have the promise here. I would experiment. So this is the test. This is one I would probably consider running as a test of having the big bold promise as slide 1, and then have video as slide 2, like testimonial banger slide 3, and then I think, do we have 6? Is that what it is, Kirby? And then the other 3, I would have my most 3 compelling slides for my presentation that reference back to the video. That's how I would probably lay this out. And then my big front end slide would probably be headline, subheadline. So it'd probably be like let's see here, get or land a UK job in 90 days as an international student. That's what it is. And then probably the underneath is like, even if all my biggest concerns, which you know them better than I do. Cool. All right. So that we did 45 minutes or 43 minutes of page teardowns. So let's open for any Q's and A's about that, or whatever else, if you have other Q's and A's. Hopefully that was fun.
That was really good. Drop your questions in the chat, guys. And for context, Fahun that you just reviewed is number 2 on the leaderboard. And there's big mistakes in the about page with saying the price is $250 and the price is actually $375. So there's probably a lesson in there around not needing everything to be perfect.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's a huge point, guys. It's a big point. Also, I don't even know if this is for remote jobs, as a side note. So I would clarify that too. I just couldn't tell from maybe it's in the video, but just like looking at it, I wouldn't have known. Also, I don't know if you're doing at your price point, it might be worth throwing the Calendly link on there for calls, because at almost $400 a month, that would be something that I would consider. I mean, shoot, I was selling people in person for $99 a month boot camp. So I mean, like, everything's relative. But if you know that people are going to stay for a decent amount of time, which it looks like you said 90 days, so it's about $1,000 is what you're making, $1,200 per person. That's not a bad 30 minutes to take, in my opinion. All right, so let's rock and roll. Kevin, question. My problem is I'm getting a lot of people from third world countries joining my free group, and none of them can afford the pay group. My niche is chess. Okay, a large proportion of my Instagram following is from those countries. For example, 25% are from India, and when I talk to them, they all say they can't afford it. My question is, how can I qualify at least to make sure I'm getting who I really want? Okay, so one thing is, I don't think countries are protected classes. So if you want to say, you can say like, this is only for these countries, if you feel like it. I'm just being real. Like you can just say this is only for these countries, and that could be an easy, first thing. And for those of you who feel butthurt about that, well, welcome to a business. So you're not going to run ads in Malaysia if you know that the likelihood that people are going to convert is low. So you might as well just put a disclaimer up front on that. So I would do that as number one. I'll bet you though, as a side note, that if your audience on Instagram, for example, is basically this audience is a reflection of the audience that you're doing in your content, because I'm guessing you're pushing from your content. This is why you have this. And so you can fix this at the filter level, which is like, how do we change the page so that we can attract more of the right people, ward off the wrong people? But I think that would be that's not fixing it at the source, which is where you're getting your traffic from. And so I'd be asking myself, what piece? So this is how you do it. You look through all of the content that you have that drives traffic. You look at where the content is being displayed, and then you can see which content is getting the right types of people. Same like ads, right? It's like which one of these is generating the views or the clicks that I want. And I would say, if you have this in link in bio and stuff, put the disclaimers there too. And so you want to basically have it congruent throughout the funnel. So it's like US, Canada, and whatever chess players go here. And then when they get to the funnel or they get to the about page, it's same restated call out. So I'd go asterisk, US, Canada, UK, whatever, Australia, like these countries, chess players, this is who I'm looking for. And then I might even put like line 2, like willing to invest long-term in both time and money. This group is free, but if you really want to accelerate your career, there's not a single chess champion that hasn't spent money on their career. So I would state a fact that no one could argue about who the best is. So it's like, if you want to invest in this and you really want to be good at this, there's not a single person who's in the top 100 who hasn't invested money in getting better. And so this is a great primer. This is the first steps, but ultimately you're going to do this. You want to set that frame, you want to seed that up front so that it's not a surprise when you do it. I would also consider adding in the either the Calendly link or add it as a function of joining. You can do that either way. You have a free group though, so I probably wouldn't do it for the free ones. Unless I'd fix the traffic problem first and then I would add that in. Otherwise you're going to drive yourself nuts. Okay. Motage. Should I tear down my free community and only keep paid? I have 600 free members, but I don't know how to separate the value from the free. Okay. And paid, for example, I wouldn't put bad courses in the free community, but how can I make them better on paid? Okay. So this is actually a really recurring question, which is what stuff should I keep behind a paid wall and what stuff should I keep in front of a paid wall? All right. So big picture, think about your free community as a lead magnet. That is the purpose of the free community. It is to attract people, give them a reason to come into your world. And a lead magnet serves one purpose, which is to increase the likelihood that someone buys your product. That's what it does. And so one of the ways that we just had come out of the one day, which I know Kirby's going to do a deep training on this. So let me just make this really, really simple for you. This is going to get mass adopted. I'm just telling everybody on here, this is going to have mass adoption. So when they come in, you have 5 modules, 5 videos, which is really one video, which is a webinar or a video sales letter, a VSL, that you just break into 5 pieces. And so normally you'd have an introduction, which usually tells origin story or nature of the problem or the size of the opportunity. That's this. And then you have 3 core stories that are going to overcome their personal doubts, their doubts about other people, and their doubts about the universe. Okay. Their doubts about the circumstances, the conditions, etc. Basically things outside of themselves, other people, and then finally their own ability to achieve whatever the promise is. Those are the 3 core stories that are going to relate. And you're going to tell those about people who are like them, who got what they want, and ideally multiple of them that fit within that bucket. And then finally, you'll make the CTA, which is going to be the 5th video, which is, let me tell you about the offer that I have that I think would really work well for you. Okay. That is what the 5 videos are. That is what it is. Now, inside the community, the actual community itself, and maybe you holding 1 call a week in there where you provide value and then you soft toss calls to the paid community. That would be it. You answer questions in there. You encourage people to post like the GIFs and all that stuff so that you can drive some engagement in there. But fundamentally, your delivery there is one thing that increases the likelihood they convert, which is basically sales letter. And then the second is that you do a weekly webinar where you also push people to a call. So both of those things are pushing to a call with a clear offer. That's it. That's the purpose. And so the reason you have the free community is so that when you drive clicks on ads or you drive from content, it gives something that people can easily say yes to. That's the point. Okay. I feel like we answered that question. I feel like we
so good.
Yeah. I'm gonna give myself a little nice job, Alex. Okay. Let's look at ARPS, limitless life secrets. What's the best way to balance a ton of value without overwhelm? My community, I think I just answered that one. So I think it's what it is. You have 5 videos and you do a weekly call. Keep it simple. Okay. Let's see here. Is it worth switching my 1,000 member free community to paid, low ticket starting at $7 so that I have extra social proof to get new members, then push out those lead magnet components you mentioned? If you have 1,000 member free community. I'd rather just have, so we've also noticed this too. So I'll just put this out there as like things that we're learning across the platform, is that the people who seem to have the most success have two groups. Like almost everyone has this kind of bi group model, which is like one group is lead magnet, one group has ascension, and that seems to work very well. And so the purpose of the free group is to convert cold traffic into the paid group. Like that seems to be this recurring theme that I'm seeing this, right? Over and over again, that's what people are doing. And so I would recommend that strategy because I think for many of you, that would be the simplest way. And again, if you need to increase conversion percentage, this is for everyone. You add a Calendly link and you include a call as a function of joining the free group. Now, if some of you are like, well, I can't take that many calls. Well, then you have a different problem to solve, which means like, again, I can't take that many calls. Like, what problem do you want? You want busy or broke? I promise you will not make less money by learning to sell more. Okay, great. Question, ad strategy. Thoughts on ads into a free group? How do you do that successfully? You run ads to the free group. It's kind of a douche answer, but like, it's actually like, that's honestly what it is. I think Evelyn has full breakdowns on this inside of the community. You just install the conversion pixel and you run ads. Max Persian, I think has a good breakdown inside the community as well that are outside of the scope of me being able to answer it click by click right now. But like, you just got to do it. And then you just got to see how much it costs you to add group ads. And then fundamentally, guys, it's all math. So it's like, I spent $100 and I got 25 free members into my group. And then of those 25 free members, I was able to get on a call with 6 of them. And of those 6, I was able to sell 2. And my membership is $199 a month. And so I sold 2 people at $199 a month. I made $400 and I spent $100. That's the math. And then you still have the recurring on the back end. And so you just need to make that math work. That's it. Let's see. Question. Coach Tritty, can you give some presentation tips when creating slides? Example, one idea per slide for both. Okay. So can you explain presenting? So I will say this for the context of the video that would be on the about page, which is kind of the theme of today's talk, is I would look at each of the core components of what you offer, right? So I'll use the school games as an example. So I'll probably end up making a video at some point to explain what the school games is. And inside of it, I'll be like, in order, I'll say, we have a weekly call where I answer your questions. I have one day mastermind per month that I drop, and I would show them the mastermind that I drop, where we talk with all the best people, and all that content is relatable to you because you also have a community. We also have the community itself of other people. We've got experts inside that can help you with all sorts of things like content, like paid ads, like whatever. And finally, you get the platform itself, right? So I'd have 5 core components. Here's each one of them. You get all of them. Isn't this nice? Right? Like that. I would keep it as simple as humanly possible because fundamentally, you just like each of the components in and of themselves should be worth more. Like you should work to make each of the components worth more than the price. So that because fundamentally, that is why some element or some segment of the population will buy because of one of the components. Some people just start the school games because they're like, oh, I can hop on a Q&A call with Alex. Some people are like, dude, these one-day masterminds are insane. That's why I would just pay that alone to be able to get those. Some people, they're like, I would just use Skool as a software. Like I like it's the best software that's out there for managing a community. Some people are like, I want the course so that it explains, step by step. Some people want the internal support of the community. Everybody has a different thing that they want. And we know that for some people that will nudge them over the edge. And we want to clearly, and I'll say this again, clear beats clever every time. Just be as clear as humanly possible. Use the lowest grade level possible. Use no lingo or jargon because the point is to convert people who are not in your world. It's to convert people who you want to get into your world. So you can't use words from your world outside of your world and expect these people to understand it. And part of the reason the books, in my opinion, are really good is because I don't use jargon. I break down what the jargon means. Even advertising, like just letting people know about stuff. That's all it is, right? An offer is what you give in exchange for money. That's it, right? It's like I try to use and repeat those colloquialisms throughout so that people understand what we're talking about, right? So if you can break down what the features are or the components of your offer in your community into what it really means, like you'd explain it to a 5-year-old, you will get way more people to convert because they'll understand without having to translate in their minds. Okay. Mike, if you had 19 followers on Instagram on teaching outdoor climbing skills, cool. How would you build a community? And how can you price it very high without a very heavy spin-up cost? Well, I mean, there's really no spin-up cost. It's a community. So I think right off the bat, you can check that one off. So the setup cost is just hosting the community. Like that's literally it. Beyond that, you just want to have a killer offer. So, I mean, we just did all these page breakdowns. I would model what I just went over, which is promise, plan, proof. And what do most of these people want? They probably want to level up their skills. And you probably have elements that people want, which is probably like hand recovery. You know this shit better than me, right? Like best places to climb, recovery for this, workouts that are skill specific for grip, for back strength, for leg strength, for how to jump between things. I have no idea what this is about, but you get the idea. All right. So we have each of the features that are going to be part of the plan. And again, if I want to convert the highest percentage of of people, I'm just sharing what seems to be working the best for everybody, is the two community offer, free lead magnet community, which has five courses, which fundamentally, not 5 courses, 5 videos, which is fundamentally just the VSL, and 1 call a week inside the free that just gives them value, and then soft tosses the paid community. And then inside the paid community, you have all the other stuff. Your CTA for your organic is going to be on stories and posts to drive people to the free thing, and the free thing is going to have the call. Now, if you want to get even spicier and convert a higher percentage, then you'd add a third conversion mechanism, which is that you give them an onboarding call. So think about this as like, how many different ways can I drive people to buy? I'm going to have a free onboarding call for everybody who joins the group. They're going to have a weekly call where I sell one to many, and then I have an automated selling system that goes through people who watch all 5 of the videos, increase the likelihood that they buy. So I do all 3 of those things to maximally convert as many of my free people into paid people. That's what I would do.
There's an interesting question here from Hifdh Revolution. He says, in one of your latest videos, you mentioned it's important to figure out what business we are really in. What business is Skool Communities in?
So I'll clarify one thing and then I'll give an answer. So every business needs every component. So think about a business like a car. You need wheels. You need a chassis. You need a steering wheel. You need, you need hubs, right? Or axles, right? You need those things in order for a car to run. You need an engine. The question is, which of these things will have the greatest impact on the business overall? And so within the context of communities, traffic will be the one that if I had to pick of the 4 levers, you've got traffic, you've got conversion, you've got price, you've got retention. Now, traffic is influenced by the other 3, but traffic fundamentally is the number one thing. If Mr. Beast tomorrow starts a community on Skool, he will have the biggest school, right? He has the most traffic. Now, long term, and the big point here is that if you keep people longer, you will be able to spend more on traffic, which allows you to have more traffic. And so with the broadest brushstroke, more eyeballs going into your community will make you more money, period. Fight, that will happen. The things that allow you to get those eyeballs is going to be the price and the churn. And so for many of you, having a very clear value proposition, like for most of you, I mean, we went through a bunch of them. I think the clearest one was the porn one. And I think that Farhoon, I would say him and the porn one were very clear in terms of the deliverable. You get a job in 90 days, you quit porn in 90 days. I get it. That's the promise. The other ones that we went over, not as clear. And so I would be very clear about my promise, and that will allow higher conversion on the page, higher stick rate on the membership because they know what they're going for. Hopefully that answered that question. Okay. I know we're at the top of the hour. Hopefully you guys, hopefully that was helpful for everybody in terms of thinking through the pages and making it convert better. Highly tactical. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, if you like this, then let us know in the Skool community.
Thank you, guys. See you next week, Monday, 2 p.m.
Bye. Listen, if we get 1 out of 2 paid communities to make money, most people don't have organic audiences. So we had to figure it out or no one would stay on Skool, but we have. And that's why we have tens of thousands of groups on Skool right now. And as much as I'd like to think people love me, people stay because they make money. And we'll show you exactly how they did it. So if that sounds at all interesting, the best part is you can start a community of your own absolutely free. Worst case, start for free, you decide to quit, and then you can take all the training that other people charge thousands of dollars for with you for free. Best case, you take a 0-risk move and build an online business that could change your life forever. And to be clear, I'm not asking you to decide yes or no today. I'm asking you to make an informed decision. That's it. And the only way you can do that is on the inside, not on the outside. So get inside and see if everything that we say is true and valuable to you. And if you get in and decide it's not for you, no sweat. But you can't truly make an informed decision right now for the same reason you don't buy a house without looking inside of it first, or test drive a car before buying it. So this is a guaranteed risk-free test drive. And the only reason you can make an offer that strong is because you're confident that what you have is the real deal. And I'm fairly confident that when you sign up by hitting the button below, you're getting exactly what you need to start your online business. So you might as well give it a shot. The only other guarantee is that if you don't take this shot, you'll stay right where you are right now. But if you take action, you could be the next one coming out to Vegas celebrating how quickly you built an online business with consistent monthly recurring revenue and driving away in a Cybertruck or with 100 grand in cash in your pocket. Pretty neat. So click the button below, join us in the Skool games, and be sure to let me know you're new. I'll see you on the other side.